This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 18. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. NLT version. Plans succeed through good counsel. Don't go to war without wise advice. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who grew well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai's sake. My brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 18, is that I want to show a good example of why you don't do anything without wise counsel, okay? Especially when it comes to war, all right? And I'm going to use the example of what's going on with this whole Iran war because, I mean, the evidence is so overwhelming, all right, that America is losing this war, and that's why they have to constantly stop fighting for a certain amount of days because they're running low on munitions, more specifically air defense interceptors and precision weapons, all right, and that's why they have to stop because then they have to go throughout the world, okay, and retrieve these air defense interceptors and precision weapons, all right, to the so-called Middle East. And they're running low. They're also running low on strategic petroleum reserve, okay? And that's going to have a major impact on the American economy, all right? Those gas prices are about to skyrocket. And that's why I brought out Proverbs chapter 20, verse 18. Let's read it again. Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war. Right. Okay? If you are taking heed, all right, to good counsel, all right, and wise advice, then you'll succeed. But as you see with this American government, they're not succeeding because they don't have good counsel and they have unwise advice. They have nothing but yes men, all right? Yes men that just, all right, say yes to everything this Trump administration wants to hear so that they can keep their pension and their livelihood, all right, which is going to inevitably destroy this country. And that's how we know America's on its way out, all right? Because the leadership is nothing but yes men and following orders, all right? They're not looking out for the country as a whole. They only care about themselves, okay, and their pockets. And they're willing to say yes to everything this administration, all right, wants to hear. Like Donald Trump, they're just pleasing his ears, okay? So let's read this. And this is a good example why you don't do anything without wise counsel and good advice, okay? Good advice, good counsel, and a wise advice. Concerns over U.S. military readiness center on the rapid expenditure of sophisticated air defense interceptors and precision weapons. Right. Okay, so this is where America, okay, is having a big problem. They are low on these munitions, on these ballistic missiles, whether they be for air defense or for offense, you know. And this is why Iran is doing very well in this war. Okay? Alongside a heavily depleted strategic petroleum reserve resulting from prior global aid and recent Middle East conflicts. Right. What they mean prior global aid is that during the Biden administration, they started depleting their strategic petroleum reserve for the war in Ukraine. Okay, and it hasn't stopped. All right. And then now with this war with Iran, it has increased. While military analysts and reports warn that inventories of key systems like Patriot and Tomahawk missiles face severe pressure, the White House maintains that overall U.S. stockpiles remain more than adequate. Right, again, okay, these are these yes men telling the Trump administration what they want to hear. Okay, again, let's get another scripture. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 6. For by wise counsel thou shalt make thy war, and in multiple counselors there is safety. So NLT version. So don't go to war without wise guidance. Victory depends on having many advisors, right? And this is why you see a whole bunch of high-ranking officers leaving or getting fired, all right? Because the Trump administration doesn't want to hear the bad news. They only want to hear good news, okay? Again, they want to hear yes men, all right? And that's why they're losing this war. As a fact, let's see something here. How many high-ranking U.S. military officers have left the Trump administration at admin since he took office? Dozens of high-ranking U.S. military officers and generals have left, retired early, or been dismissed under President Donald Trump and Defense Secretary incompetent Pete Hegseth. And he's an incompetent fool. Including key leaders like General Charles Q. Brown Jr., Admiral Lisa Franchetti, and General Randy George. Okay? These are all these high-ranking officers that were either fired or removed, okay, or dismissed, all right? Numerous other 3-star and 4-star general admirals and defense intelligence heads, such as leaders from the NSA and DIA, right? What's his name? Joe Kent, right, from the DIA, have been forced out or opted for early retirement amid a sweeping Pentagon leadership overhaul, okay? So, hey, the scriptures are on point, okay? They're doing opposite, and that's how you know America doesn't believe in the Bible, all right? They don't believe in the scriptures. They're liars, all right? The leadership of America doesn't believe in the scriptures at all, okay? They do not, and this is confirmation. High cost so now it breaks it down, all right? And again, you don't go to war, okay, unless you get good counsel, all right, and wise advice, all right? This proves that this administration, all right, is clearly incompetent and is designed this way so that America can lose this World War III that we're in the beginning stages of. And we're in the beginning stages of World War III. I mean, when Iran and Ukraine are now involved in a conflict, all right, due to Iran supplying Russia, okay, with drones. I mean, come on, man. What does this tell you? All right? We're in the beginning stage of World War III. The wars in Iran and Ukraine have converged as Kiev successfully targeted Iranian vessels and a Russian missile boat in the Caspian Sea. Ukraine's long-range strike hit supply routes used to transport Iranian-linked military cargo to Russia, a move that has drawn fierce threats of retaliation from Tehran. All right, so you're seeing the wars interlap, okay? The situation in Ukraine and the situation in Iran are overlapping now, okay? So we're in the beginning stages of World War III, and the scriptures talk about The third woe cometh quickly. Let's get that. Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, right? That's World War II. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly, right? The third terror cometh quickly, right? And it's coming quickly. All right, this is it. All right. And the fact that America is low on ammunition, all right, it's going to show, it just proves that, all right, this war is about to heat up, and you will see boots on the ground. You will see military soldiers, all right, in the Levant, all right, because this is the next option. If you're low on these ballistic missiles, all right, what is the next option? Because it's not going to go nuclear. We haven't seen the chip. We haven't seen the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. So now it's the next option, which is going to happen, is boots on the ground and get ready for a draft. So munitions and readiness pressures, high-cost interceptors, intense operations against regional threats have heavily taxed inventories of Patriot anti-missile batteries and naval interceptors. Yep. The cost. This is why Meathead, P. Hegseth, again, wants over $1 trillion, okay, for the next fiscal year. And the fiscal year for governments, the U.S. government, is October 1st, all right? So that's why he's asking over $1 trillion, all right, because they need to restock. But it's too late. It's stockpile depletion. Years of foreign military assistance to Ukraine and continuous strikes against Middle Eastern proxy groups have drawn down baseline Pentagon reserves. Yep. All right. They're constantly going against the Houthis in Yemen, which they couldn't stop. Yeah. All right. And then, of course, all throughout Iraq. Okay. Not to mention Africa. Okay. Again, official pushback. President Donald Trump administration officials have strongly dismissed claims of critical shortage, asserting that the nation holds vastly superior weapon quantities compared to any adversary. Right, and this is them lying, okay? Because they don't want to, all right, show the American people that they're incompetent, okay? And that they didn't take heed, all right, to these officers that they, okay, removed or fired or told to retire early. They didn't take their advice. Because guaranteed these officers, all right, told them, yo, we don't have enough munitions, all right, to go against Iran. We got, hey, you got to wait at least, all right, till we stock up more ballistic missiles. But did you think they want to hear that? No. They want to hear yes men, okay, like that weirdo, okay, the Joint Chief of Staff, General Kane. All right, he's a yes man, okay? General, what's his name? This guy right here. General Kane, Joint Chief of Staff. This character right here, General Dan Kane, all right? They took him out of retirement, Raising Kane. He retired, but, they brought him back, okay, because he's a yes man, all right? And that's what they want to hear. Oh, by the way, Donald Trump and the Trump administration, they answer to the BB the bomber and the JJs. Okay, that's why there's the National Defense Authorization Act. All right, is literally the one that they're gonna pass. It's got to pass the Senate. The new one, it's a fusion with the JJ's intelligence agency, with the American intelligence agency and supplies, all right? And they've been came together, but now it's going to be on paper, okay? And that goes into prophecy. The least of the flock shall draw them out, all right? Look it up, the NDAA. What is it? Section 219, right? What is it? NDAA Section 219. Yep. The fiscal year 2027 National Defense Authorization Act establishes the United States JJ Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative, originating from the United States JJ Futures Act. The controversial provision directs the Secretary of Defense to appoint a Pentagon executive agent to oversee and accelerate joint military research, development, testing, industrial cooperation between the U.S. and the JJs. So America's, all right, been hijacked on paper. It has been like this, but been hijacked, and now America answers to the JJs. All right, that's why you're not getting out of this war, okay, with Iran. You're not getting out of this war with Russia, okay. Oh, by the way, China is assisting the Houthis, all right, in fighting them JJs, because I've done lessons on this. China and Houthi partnership. China Houthi movement maintain an informal, pragmatic arrangement characterized by safe passage guarantees for Chinese vessels, the provision of dual-use technologies and commercial drone components, and shared strategic objectives aimed at undercutting U.S. influence in the region. You see that? So China is using the Houthis as a proxy, okay? And China Houthi partnership against, check this out. See, we had Great Millstone to the Spirit and Power Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. We fact check everything, all right? The prophecy is being fulfilled. That's how we know we're almost out of here. We're just waiting for that RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. AI overview. There is no formal military alliance between China and the Houthis, but reports indicate an informal understanding where Houthi forces provide safe passage to Chinese flagged shipping in exchange for diplomatic alignment and indirect leverage against Western and JJ interests. Yeah, this is it. This is from the JJ Policy Center. This is the JJ's think tank. All right, it goes to show you this article right here reports how China is assisting the Houthis against the JJs. Okay. All right, this is from the JJ Policy Center. Okay, so this is straight out of the horse's mouth. So you can read this article, all right, just to show you that China assists the Houthis in going against the JJs, all right. In fact, where does it say? Here it is. The Houthis have a wide variety of weapons, including surface-to-surface missiles, artillery, rockets, loitering munitions, and unmanned aerial vehicles. And Russia, China, or Iran produce most of these. The Houthis have missiles and UAVs capable of reaching the JJs, such as, these are the weapons, all right, China's Houthi support. On April 17, 2025, the U.S. State Department accused China and Russia with militarily aiding the Houthis. Okay? So, yeah. So the Houthis are being backed by Russia, China, Iran. And I saw another article where the JJs were like, China's giving them weapons to it, and those weapons are attacking us. So yeah, you know, we in the beginning stages of World War III, and that's why, again, all right, this country, America, all right, is being set up to be destroyed. All right, and this is done by Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, so prophecy can be fulfilled. So let's get Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Right. Okay, this is the will of the Lord. He's setting up America to be destroyed. All right, but before America is destroyed, we're waiting for the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. All right, that's why the angels are holding the four winds. All right, because we're waiting for that chip to be made mandatory, and it's coming. Jeremiah 50 verse 24 in the NLT version, listen, Babylon, for I have set a trap for you. You are caught, for you have fought against the Lord. And how did you fight against the Lord? Well, first he touched the apple of his eye, the children of Israel. All right, you blaspheme his name, you blaspheme what he looks like by putting a Caucasian devil as the face of the Messiah. Okay, you destroy the earth, all right, with your chemicals and your forever plastics and your trash in the sea, and you pollute the ozone layer. So that's you fighting against the Lord. Jeremiah chapter 50 verse 25, the Lord hath opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord God of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. 25, the Lord has opened his armory and brought out weapons to vent his fury. The terror that falls upon the Babylonians will be the work of the sovereign Lord of the heavens' armies. You see that? Okay, so the Lord is setting this place up to be destroyed so that prophecy can be fulfilled and that America can get its judgment for all the wickedness it has done on the planet Earth. All right? Oh, you JJs, you 1940s, you small hats, the least of the flock, you're going to be judged too. Okay? Because that state of the JJs, the state of quote unquote Israel, or, all right, really, all right, that's the state of the Amalekites, all right? That place has to be cleansed, all right? That's why, pursuant to Ezekiel 38, the Lord is going to cleanse the land, all right? Our land that he gave to us. I want to bring this out. 2 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is perfect toward him. Right. Okay. And that's the elect, man. All right. And the Lord's eyes, okay, are on his elect, and he is strengthening us. Okay. And that's why we're so confident we can bring out, all right, the Lord's prophecies and tell you people, especially here in America, that your days are numbered. All right, this place ain't gonna last. All right, because the Lord has, all right, strengthened us. All right, with His words. All right, by giving us the Rakah Kodash, the Holy Spirit, and that's how we're strengthened. Okay, by reading His words. Herein thou hast done foolishly, therefore, from thenceforth thou shalt have wars. Right, and you could clearly see America is moving foolishly. All right. Okay. Just like our, if you want to go into this chapter right here in context, it was King Asad of Judah. All right. He was moving foolishly. He aligned himself with the Syrian army instead of trusting in the Lord. All right. And I believe it was the prophet Hananiah. Yep. Right here. Hananiah, who told him, all right, you're going off. All right, that's why you're going to be in war forever and ever. Same thing with America. America comes off as like there's some supposedly a Christian nation, but do you think they're praying to pushing the word of the Lord and saying, hey, let's pray to the Lord. Let's let everyone everyone in America. Hey, everyone needs to get into clothes of mourning. All right, sackcloth. Just like what happened in Nineveh, right? And pray to the Lord, so that things could get better and beg the Lord to be on our side, right, in this war. You think Donald Trump would do that? No. All right? They're not thinking about the Bible, man. They use it to deceive the morons, the plantation Christian morons, okay? Donald Trump and his administration and the yes men are Satanists. Okay, that's why nobody has been charged with the Jeffrey Epstein, all right, international sex trafficking ring, because they're all Satanists and they're all in on it, all right, and especially and including U.S. military high-ranking officers. They were on that island too. Those are the yes men. Okay, that's just facts. Last one, Luke chapter 14. I'm going to start at 28. For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he hath sufficient to finish it, right? And we use this, all right, towards those that know that they're Israelites, all right, that are claim to be believers in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, all right? you have to count the cost. All right. You just don't start something and then halfway, all right, in the middle of it, you walk away. All right. It clearly shows that you didn't count the costs. All right, and this is pertaining to these fallouts. All right, but I also want to use it to America's military and this administration. They clearly didn't count the costs, man. All right, and that's why they're losing in this war. And this is the beginning of them losing in this World War III that we're in the beginning of. 29. Less happily, after he hath laid the foundation, is not able to finish it, all that behold, it began to mock him, right? And now everyone's mocking America. Okay, mocking. You know, the whole world's looking at America as one big incompetent nation. All right, with this war, everybody sees it. Russia and China, Iran, they're licking their lips. North Korea, licking their lips. Okay. 30, saying this man began to build and was not able to finish. Right. Okay. And that's why, brothers, okay, that come into this truth, you don't want to be mocked. All right. You don't want to start, all right, serving the Lord. All right. Get into this spiritual army, because we are a spiritual army, as it says in Ezekiel 37. Okay. And then fall out, turn your back on the plow. All right. Because you're going to be balked. Because look at America. All right. America started this war and they can't finish it, man. All right. And now they're going to have to put boots on the ground, which is going to be a bigger, okay, problem. It's going to be a lot of deaths. 31. Or what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 and meet him with that cometh against him with 20,000. NOT version. Or what king would go to war against another king without first sitting down with his counselors to discuss whether his army of 10,000 could defeat the 20,000 soldiers marching against him? Right, and you can equate this with missiles right now. But eventually it's going to be soldiers. All right? But right now they don't have enough missiles to go against Iran's missiles. Iran has way more missiles than America. Okay? And it's being shown. Because Iran's been preparing, okay, for the last 20 plus years. And America's been, okay, constantly at war with smaller nations, rebel groups. So they're constantly been depleting their ammunition. And then they depleted more of their munitions with this whole war in Ukraine. So they clearly, okay, all right, didn't sit down first and count the cost and, all right, listen to their counselors who are providing the data, the numbers. All right, and this is going to happen when it comes to boots on the ground, because right now America doesn't have enough boots on the ground to invade Iran. That's how we know a draft's coming. Okay, they don't have enough. All right, they're going to throw in, this is what I perceive them speaking as a man. They'll throw in a couple of thousand. That's why they got the 82nd Airborne. I like to bring this out just to show you that boots are on the ground is coming. 82nd Airborne is, all right, just hanging around in Israel. Okay. 82nd Airborne. The Pentagon announced a broader deployment of thousands of 82nd Airborne paratroopers to the U.S. Central Command region in March 2026 amid escalation regional conflicts. Okay, and they're still there. Okay. 82nd Airborne deployments of Israel went unannounced. There you go. This was in June of last month. They're still there. Okay. Because they're going to do a Normandy style, which is a joke. This is not World War II. This is World War III. They're going to attempt to jump into behind enemy lines. All right, while the Marine Expeditionary Unit, right? USNI Fleet Tracker. Right, you got the Boxer, which is a U.S. It's a U.S. Marine Expeditionary Unit. All right. Oh, and there was another one. Where was the? There was another Marine unit there. All right, they might have turned off the transponder. All right, but and the point is that that's what they're going to try to do, airborne and then sea to land, and they're going to get crushed because Iran's been waiting. Iran wants military boots on the ground, so it's going to be like an Iwo Jima, all right, or Okinawa, where you're going to see thousands upon thousands, okay, of U.S. soldiers dropped, okay, all right, and perish, okay, within hours. It's gonna be a bloodbath. But hey, this is what World War III is all about. So back to the book of Luke, chapter 14, and just continue on, verse 32. Or else, while the other is yet a great way off, he sent an ambassage and desired conditions of peace. And if he can't, he will send a delegation to discuss terms of peace while the enemy is still far away, right? And you don't, and this ain't happening, okay? Because Iran doesn't trust America. America has been lying during peace, attacking during peace negotiations. So yeah. So anyway, hey, this is why you got to take heed to wise counsel, or else you won't be profitable. Tobit chapter 4 verse 18, ask counsel of all that are wise and despise not any counsel that is profitable, right? And that's how you know this is not a profitable country. That's why it says in the book of Sirach, and I'll close off with this. What is it? Sirach chapter 10 verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. And the one that is profitable is, all right, the kingdom of Israel. All right, that's the kingdom of heaven. All right, Yashar Allah. Okay, the Israelites ruling under the rulership, under the authority of Yahweh Shai, who the world only calls Jesus. Okay, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. So that's going to be the profitable kingdom. All right. Because right now, this you clearly see this place is not profitable. And this is judgment for all the wickedness that America has done. So, Lord willing, us edifying, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there, pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep the door, keep the faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying. Pray without ceasing. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostle elders. We're almost out of here. To the few sisters that are watching, we're almost out of here. Stay prayed up. And when you pray, chat, cover, shalom. And as the apostle elders always say, on to the next one, shalom.